right, welcome to the station, Kentucky's Conservative Outpost. I'm your host, Tom Fallbush, and I've got some guests tonight here that are some great friends of mine. I'm excited to have them on the show. These are very old friends I've had in my life, probably 30-some years. And but what's more important than that is the fact that they are local Louisvillians. They grew up here. They're all born and raised, and obviously Kentuckians as well. The show is about Louisville and it's about Kentucky, and so they're conservatives. They share a common worldview, and so I want to hear their opinion about things that are happening in our city and in our state. And so I'll introduce them to you. And also, they're a part of a conservative book club that is that's existed for about a year or so in this market and or in Louisville, and they're inviting others to join. It's called the Louisville Conservative Book Club. They have a Facebook page. You should check it out. They're reading some very good books, and just all across the conservative world, from Douglas Murray to Thomas Sowell to even Benjamin Netanyahu this month, a book he wrote in 1995 about terrorism. So, and we'll have a show next week discussing some of that. But tonight I want to introduce him real quick. So to my right is Jonathan Drake, old friend of mine, and went to high school together, Moore High School. And you're just a great friend. You're one of the best people I know of keeping all of your friends close to you from that era. And it's awesome because you do great outreach to your friends. And it's important. Community is important more than ever, and you're great at building community. Thank you, Tom. And so that's what makes sense. You would start this conservative book club, because conservatives, we need community right now. We feel like we're under siege, and we feel like that no one else thinks like we do. We know they do. A lot of people think like you do, and it's actually the majority of people do. So to my right or to my left, we have Troy Svoboda.
I got it.
I get this right. It's a wonderful name. It stands for freedom in Russian. So, das vidanya.
But you're not a communist,
He's
right?
not a communist. He's a freedom lover. He's a freedom loving. He's freedom loving American. And we have Andy Abbott, who is a good friend of mine as well. And Andy's former law enforcement. Troy is a local entrepreneur and business owner, and Jonathan's a real estate agent and a business owner. Louisvillians all.
Well, just to clarify, I'm an Oklahoma boy.
And there we go. Oklahoma, but that's me too. I'm a South End kid. It's 3 South End kids, and you're
Valley Station.
Valley Station. It's all South
Valley
End.
Station.
That's hardcore.
Born and bred.
That is hardcore South End. Oklahoma is kind of upscale. Upscale South End.
Y'all were up at
We should make fun
That's
of
right.
him.
Is there such a thing as upscale South End?
You guys had garbage pickup and everything.
So, yeah.
It was rough.
That's right. So, all right. So let's talk about Louisville. The city's been through a lot of stuff the past few years. I mean, well, let's just get right to the crux of it. The whole Breonna Taylor crisis that's spun up a lot of protest and which seemed to be just a sea change in the mood of the city and just how people viewed government in our city, how people viewed downtown, how people viewed law enforcement, race relations, all these things are just up for grabs right now, and they don't seem settled just yet, and people are concerned. And so I want to get everybody's opinion on some of this stuff. And so, Jonathan, what are your concerns about Louisville right now? Do you have concerns, or do you feel like it's moving in the right direction?
It is not moving in the right direction.
Okay.
I think it's moving in the wrong direction, and unfortunately, I think it'll continue to move in the wrong direction.
Why is that?
Well, it's its values more than anything.
Values of people living here, or people are running the city?
Both.
Okay. So he's blaming you.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
It's your fault.
Well, that's one reason that we started the book club.
Hey, that's true.
So
that's
that
true.
we can understand these.
That's right.
These problems,
issues.
these situations, and
That's right.
And so, but we seem to keep doubling down at the ballot box. By our elected officials. We seem to keep doubling down on the things that we just keep doing.
Yeah.
And we keep having the same results, but we keep doing them.
That's right.
And we see it in the school systems, which is a disaster.
Yeah, we couldn't get good local school board members elected. We had the same old crowd that's been, I totally get it.
And the three of us in the book club, we didn't plan this or anything, but we just realized, hey, all our wives are teachers. So
I forgot.
Yeah. And we didn't plan that.
No.
It just turned out to be that way.
Yeah. Let's get them on next week. So what's your opinion on fix education?
I hear the stories, and I know Troy does too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bad.
Yeah.
And there's no solutions to seem to fix it or want to fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what are some of the key problems? I mean, obviously you're describing we have problems, but what are the problems? So what do you see?
You can look at the buses to start off with.
There we go.
That's been a disaster lately.
So GCPS can't get their act together.
No, JCPS can't get their act together. I've always thought whether it's economical, logistical, moral, whichever way you want to spin it, Jefferson County is very consistent. They'll always make the wrong decision.
That's right.
And I hate that. I really, really do. But that seems to be the case.
The trend.
And it doesn't seem to ever want to go the other way.
Yeah, at least for the past 30 years, it's been that way, hasn't it? Yeah. And so Troy, what do you see in Louisville? What are the issues, concerns that you have about our city?
Well, the concerns I have are, mostly have to do with downtown. We like to go downtown because there are great businesses downtown, great restaurants. You go down, especially in the Nulu area, and you have restaurants like Guacamole and La Bodeguita de Mimi, and then you have great things to go see and do. But you can't get past the trash.
Yeah.
You can't get past the homeless.
Yeah.
Don't stop by a gas station because you're going to get mobbed by people coming up.
That's right.
On almost every corner. You have panhandling. So we constantly talk about this city and wanting to attract tourism and, conventions and sporting events and all these different things. But I tell you, I've been to other places, other cities, and you just don't see some of the issues that we're having to deal with. And that seems to just have been on the uptick the last, I'm going to guess, 15 years.
Yeah.
Where it's gotten really bad.
That's right.
It's really bad.
Yeah, we have homeless camps living right there under the Broadway's overpass right there, and open drug dealing right there. It's just
and it's so hypocritical because they seem to be fine with it. The officials seem to be fine with it until it's Derby.
Yeah,
and then it all gets cleaned up magically.
Exactly. Look what just happened in San Francisco.
That's exactly right.
They polished that sucker up quick.
They sure did. Yeah, and he even admitted the mayor of San Francisco actually admitted he did it for that reason.
Why would you bother cleaning the city for the taxpayers? That just is nonsensical.
Well, he cleaned it for his boss.
Exactly.
So that's the Chinese premier who visited the San Francisco. So if you haven't followed that, so Andy, you lived here your whole life, law enforcement background, so you've seen this from a unique perspective. And so obviously Troy brought up crime and safety. That's a huge issue for a lot of it. Every Louisvillian, like anybody that's sane wants to live in a safe city. And so what are your thoughts about living here and just?
Well, it might surprise you that I'm pretty optimistic.
Good.
I do share the concerns that Jonathan and Troy have vocalized, but I drive through the heart of downtown nearly every day. And slowly but surely over the last 3 years, I've seen life coming back into the downtown area. The city worked so hard to build that area up. Prior to the riots, 4th Street Live was kind of the jewel.
Yeah.
I would work there, working security, and people would come from all over the region. I never worked there a night that I didn't talk to somebody from Nashville, Chicago, Indianapolis, Cincinnati. They were coming to Louisville to go to that entertainment venue. Don't know how much of a comeback that venue has made. But what I do see is that East Main Street corridor and the Nulu part of town, and driving through there every day as I'm trying to skip the tolls on the 2nd Street Bridge.
Right.
I get jammed up by pedestrian traffic, and I have to remind myself it's good that we're having pedestrian traffic downtown.
That's right. So just some credit go to the current mayor on some of this. Do you
That's
feel like
another thing that might surprise you. I'm very optimistic about Mayor Greenberg. I've seen him in some, actually personally witnessed him in several situations, and I was very impressed with how he handled himself, how he treated the people that he was interacting with, and actually hesitate to go this far into it, but
defend democracy.
Misinformation poses a threat to our nation's health.
Climate change is an emergency.
Democratic socialism.
Codify one's right to choose.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
I heard him share something, and this was at a public event, so I'm not telling anybody anything that was in private. But he started to talk about the shooting at his office, where the person came in and attacked him. And I think that day he saw what evil looked like. And it's just something I took away from his speech and the way he was talking, and had some hesitation in his speech, which is rare from a politician. I heard something from a politician that you rarely hear from politicians, and that's vulnerability and vocalization of his grasp of reality.
Right.
And I think having confronted and seen face to face the evil that the violence brings in this city, I think it put a new perspective.
Yeah.
And to me, listening to him talk about that kind of opened my eyes to just how he's been conducting himself in public and with the employees of the city. And I really have high hopes for the man.
Yeah. Well, we're all Christians here. I think every one of us at this table. And I one thing about being a Christian, you want to pray for your leaders. You want to pray for those that rule over you. And so I pray for Mayor Greenberg. I hope he does a great job. And I think if any politician, regardless of their party, can be influenced to do the right thing at the right moment, and so I think one of the goals of this program and of your conservative book club is to help influence our city and our friends and neighbors to think in ways that can help move the issues along in the right direction. And so that will eventually play out into our leaders. And so let's hope that Mayor Greenberg does the right thing when it comes to cleaning our city up, getting crime dealt with, and cleaning up our homeless camps and bringing some life and some hope back into the city. And he's the mayor we've got right now. So let's hope that he does the right thing.
I really do think he has good intentions.
And I think he does too. I think he's got some good instincts there. And so we're gonna support him if he's doing the right thing. And so let's hope he does the right thing. So all right. So we have some concerns. There might be some hope that Andy brought up that things are going to change in that front. So, but he doesn't control the school system. So we'll have to do another show on the school system on how to improve Jefferson County schools, and maybe we can get school choice finally. That'd be a great, and we can actually have some of tax dollars going to some private education. I think it'd be a huge improvement. Okay, so Louisville. Let's go to the state. We just came through a major election for our state. The race for governor between Andy Beshear and Daniel Cameron. And this is the first program we've produced after the election, and so I'm sure folks are interested to hear our perspective on it. We've talked about the race for 6 months, trying to handicap and see who's doing what, and we shared a lot of concerns about the Cameron campaign, about how they were maybe not firing on all cylinders at certain points of the campaign, and so I think maybe that played out on some level, and I think he was obviously outfunded, and it was $17 million to $4 million, and so a lot of money out of state came in to pump up the Beshear campaign, and boy, it really helped his campaign, obviously, and something else. It seems like Beshear was started a lot earlier than Cameron. That allowed Beshear to define Cameron as the scary candidate, especially on the abortion issue. and he just had a hard time fighting that battle because he didn't really launch his campaign in an effective way until 30 days before the election, and that was a whole strategy that I think the McConnell camp gave him, but it didn't seem to work as well as we thought. And the thinking is, well, people don't pay attention until 30 days out, so take all your focus and put it into those 30 days. But by then, he was already defined as this horrible anti-abortion person and of course the abortion issues. It's a hot issue. A lot of the swing voter in America is the white middle class suburban college educated woman. That's the swing voter, and right now they've been triggered.
We are here to defend democracy.
Misinformation poses a threat to our nation's health.
Climate change is an emergency.
Democratic socialism.
Codify women's right to choose.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
I thought that he was waiting in the wings to take over for McConnell, the Senate. I thought he would have been a fantastic U.S. senator. Young, him and Rand Paul as our two senators would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't think Beshear was beatable.
Right.
For a wide variety of reasons. One, he hasn't governed from the far left like other states. Two, economically, the state has done extremely well over the past
Thanks
few
to the
years.
Republican legislature, by the way, just so you know, he vetoed everything that the
He
Republican.
did, but when you're the guy in charge, you get credit,
he gets some
and
credit,
you get the
yeah.
blame.
That's right.
So, for that, and then, on the abortion issue, I think we really got clobbered on that one. I know a lot of women who lean right, but when you start saying things like no abortion under any circumstances, whether you said it or whether you just allowed your opponent to say that about you, and you can't fight back against that, it scares women. And I know women that have told me personally they'd never have an abortion, would never even consider it, but they don't want to be told that under no circumstances they can't have one.
Right. Yeah.
And I think as long as we continue to be outspent on that issue, I actually pulled up some numbers after me and Jonathan started talking about this. As long as we're outspent on that, and as long as we have celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence and Taylor Swift that are out there telling young women, you need to go vote Democrat because they're taking all your rights away from you.
That's right.
And they, you have that stuff being put out on Instagram and on Facebook, and it's going to have an impact. And we have got to figure out as a party how to deal with that.
And as a pro-life movement, the pro-life movement, you need to get your act together real fast. Real fast. We got an election coming up next year that it could be a train wreck just on that one issue. If the pro-life community doesn't get their messaging right, and just get your head out of the sand. I mean, you won a big victory with Roe v. Wade. Got it. Now the war just started because we've got every state we got to go through and win these issues on, and you got to do it smart, And I think that whole movement's getting still trying to get their feet under them. But and I'm pro-life, and I think there's some room for some compromise state by state depending on the culture in the state, and we need to be ready to look at it that way.
The other thing I think that happened too, and I've talked to several people about this, even people that lean very much to the right. And one thing they were concerned about is that so many of our other, the legislature, the Senate, everything else is so far to the right. They kind of liked having Andy in place just as a check. Because, I mean, me personally, I like gridlock in government. I don't like either the left or the right going too far on any issue because they tend to go way too far. So I like those checks and balances a lot of people that I know, and there was a conversation Jonathan and I were having is why did the other down ballots go Republican, but Beshear still won? It wasn't anything against Cameron. It was the fact that they liked those checks and balances. So that was an opinion I got from numerous people.
Yeah, I can see that being true, especially folks that aren't really ideological one way or the other. You know, they just like, well, I just don't know what I believe, so I don't want y'all doing too much anyway. So I'm going to vote him, and I'm going to vote them. They don't like each other. It doesn't matter. Nothing will happen, and I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about my political opinions. But on somebody on the right, I'm saying I'd like to have Republican control of everything so we can reduce government, shrink government as much as we can.
If they will.
If they'll do it.
If they'll do it.
And then let's let gridlock occur, because but right now there's some work that needs to be done. We need to shrink government. Andy, not Andy Abbott, my friend here, is Andy Beshear going to be president in 2028?
You know what? I've never thought about it, but I think you and I have had this discussion, have we not? About
I think we did. I heard
for vice president or something.
No, I heard that that somebody was suggesting that he was going to run for Senate next time. And I thought, I don't think so. I think he has much higher aspirations, because the Democrat bench is weak. And it's not that big even, but it is weak.
Beshear's the only candidate.
He's a hero.
That can actually win in a red state. And so the whole Democratic Party is going, oh my gosh, we finally have our Bill Clinton back.
Yep. I think you're right.
He's going to do the same thing DeSantis did. He's going to say, hey, I flipped this state. Yeah, Beshear will never win as a senator in this state.
No, I don't think so.
Because when you're running for governor, you can pick up the population centers of Jefferson County, Fayette County. You can get those and pick off a few other counties. But when you're running for a statewide office, like senator, that's a whole different ballgame.
Something else that plays into this too is these off-year elections. And there's been a lot of talk about how we need to stop doing these governor's races on these in-between years, in between the two federal years, because of turnout. I think if you would have had the Cameron Beshear race in an election year for the president, you would have such a high turnout of Republicans that it'd be easy for Cameron to have won. And so it's just these off-year elections. People get burned out by so many elections. Think about it, 3 out of 4 years we have elections in the state, and it's like, come on, I think it's time to kind of roll that back and just every 2 years have elections. And I think that alone would have got Cameron the governorship. But Andy, I cut you off. What do you think? He's going to be president?
About Beshear?
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out, because he's a likable candidate. My wife, when it came election time, she was asking me about him, and I said,
women love him.
I said he's not awful.
He's not.
And it really surprised me. Much like Troy, I was very surprised that Cameron was willing to take him on as an incumbent. I thought he would be waiting in the wings to take McConnell's place. And here he jumps in against a very popular governor who's an incumbent.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make any sense to me why he would take a loss this early in his political career, because it was clear to me from the get-go. I had the television going as background noise all day, and I'm not sitting there watching it. My Chips is on in the background. Background noise, and just from the background noise, Beshear was cleaning house. Had that sweet girl on there that I think every time she appeared on a commercial, Beshear stock just went up.
Right. Yeah, you're talking about the girl from Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, there was an implication that
exactly right. And so that won the election for him.
Right.
That
was a home run.
And that shows how the pro-life movement needs to get compelling ads. They need to get some compelling messaging, because they don't have it right now, and they're getting clock cleaned. And well,
no, that run in, and be honest, from what I saw, the teachers unions got him in. I mean, when my daughter meets a man one day, I hope he loves her the way the teachers union loves Beshear. I mean, wow. There were hearts all over Facebook. Good. It was amazing.
Let's go. Well, we're out of time, unfortunately. We could go. We're just starting to get funny and enjoy this a little bit more. So all right. You're watching the station. I want to appreciate my friends for being here tonight from the Louisville Conservative Book Club. You need to be part of it if you want to learn more about your political perspective. Read some good books on the topic, and it's fun to read books with friends because you get to talk about it afterwards. And so join the Conservative Book Club. Go to Facebook. You can see it, Louisville Conservative Book Club, headed up by my friend Jonathan Drake, and we're gonna have him back soon. And we'll have to talk more about some future books.
Troy, do we have another book?
We have Thomas Sowell. We pulled up Conflict of Viewpoints.
Conflict of View. Soul's great. Okay, well, that's the next book you guys are ready. You're watching The Station. We'll see you next week.
We are here to defend democracy.
Misinformation poses a threat to our nation's health.
Climate change is an emergency.
Democratic socialism.
Codify one's right to choose.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15